today, as we take another trip down Stupidity Boulevard, we got another 46,000-year-old worm that has been unfrozen from the Siberian Permafrost, as if the viruses that we covered not too long ago weren't bad enough. Now they've done this. Let's see. We got the Trump has been hit with another indictment. This is to cover up the Devon Archer testimony that pretty much said everything that we've been saying the entire time about the Hunter Biden laptop story and the corruption with Joe Biden and all that. We also have Epps' lawyer, who is now pointing the finger at somebody else for January 6th incitement, which is this one is incredibly funny. I don't know how this is a thing, but we're going to get all that. And we're going to touch on all this just today, because this is beyond stupid. But let's go ahead and get into this very, very quickly here. And
hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
welcome to the Off-Label Podcast, your, I guess, irregular dose of sanity in an insane world now. We'll get this all worked out very, very soon. We got some things that are still looming and still being a problem. But I'm pretty sure that anybody that's actually kind of paid attention to the show a little bit here remembers the time that me and Ashley had talked about how scientists were reviving 46,000-year-old viruses from the Siberian Permafrost. One of them, which aptly named, was the Pandora virus. Well, they've taken single-celled organisms, revived them, had them able to reproduce themselves with these viruses, saying they were studying them for whatever purposes. Now they have upped the ante on this. And this is... humankind is going to be its own downfall with this, but this is incredibly stupid, ladies and gentlemen, and I just want to point this out for every single one of you to see so you understand what we are talking about here. 46,000-year-old worm found in Siberian permafrost was brought back to life, and it started having babies. Huh? Wait, but... Scientists discovered a female microscopic roundworm that has been stuck deep inside the Siberian permafrost for 46,000 years, the Washington Post reported. When they revived it, the worm started having babies via a process called parthenogenesis, which doesn't require a mate. According to the press release, the worm spent thousands of years in a type of dormancy called cryptobiosis, in that state in which can last almost indefinitely. All metabolic processes pause. including reproductive development and repair. The University of Hawaii, Hawaii, at whatever the name is. In a study published Thursday in the journal PLOS, I almost called it POS Genetics, scientists reported that after sequencing the worm's genomes, scientists said it belonged to an undescribed species. Previously, Plectus murray and Tinnicus whatever, some kind of nematode, was resurrected from moss and herbarium species or specimens after a few dozen years, according to the Live Science. This new species, however, which scientists have named Panagolarmius Colimaniensis, was dormant for tens of thousands of years longer. Holly Bick, a deep this is so stupid. I don't understand it. Holly Bick, a deep sea biologist, estimated that there are millions of nematode species living in environments as diverse as ocean trenches, tundras, deserts, and volcanic soils. Scientists have only described 5,000 marine species so far. William Crow, a nematologist at the University of Florida, who was not involved in the study, told the Post that this worm could belong to a species that has been thought to have gone extinct in the last 50,000 years. However, it very well could be commonly occurring nematode that no one got around to describing yet, Crow said. The fact that the worm survived all these years is not a shock to scientists, who have known for thousands of years that microscopic organisms, such as the worm studied here, can stop their biological functions to survive even the harshest conditions, according to the press release. Altogether, our findings demonstrate that nematodes evolved mechanisms potentially allowing them to suspend life over geological timescales, the PLOS genetics paper said. And it is kind of fitting that they put the tardigrade here, because the tardigrade kind of, they're like an awesome little creature. Like they do the exact same. They can live in the vacuum of space. They can live anywhere. They're pretty much indestructible. These kind of creatures are cool as hell, but why? I mean, if this thing was supposed to be extinct or thought to be extinct for 50,000 years, why would you revive it and let it start laying eggs to reproduce? Mankind will be its own demise, and it's just a matter of time, because they went from single cell viruses now to multicellular organisms. I don't understand why humankind does the things that it does. For this reason, it is ridiculously stupid to sit here and think that this is a good idea in any way to bring things that are supposed to be extinct back to life. Don't we have lots of movies and like TV shows and things like this that prove how bad this could be? What, it's supposed to be great for us now? Come on now. Let's just stop the stupidity with it all. This is dangerous. All right. You're bringing back the Pandora virus. Jesus Christ. Like, that's a thing. We covered that. You bring back that. Now you're bringing back multicellular. When do you think we're going to revive woolly mammoth? Like, for them to just ruffle, stomp, and trample everybody. Like, when do you think that's going to happen? Because I feel like that's going to be coming soon. I really do. And there's going to be no stopping the stupidity of mankind. We always wonder if we can. We never ask if we should type situation. And this just goes to prove that. Like, the stupidity of mankind knows no boundaries. And we do things just because. Like, when do we learn to leave well enough alone with this? Because do we know the implications of what's going to happen to life today? Because what did this thing do 46,000 years ago? How did it harm life back then? And you want to bring it up now, and we're going to study it just in case it comes back around, because climate change is a thing, ladies and gentlemen. But if you don't go to these areas where these things exist and they naturally revive themselves, well, they'll naturally die off because they have no food source, including these viruses. Same thing with them. But yet here we go. Like, you got the... Let's be a little bit cautious here with this. You got the whole lab leak theory, that how gain-of-function research was done on the coronavirus, even though Dr. Fauci says, no, gain-of-function wasn't done. We just took it and upgraded it to be able to infect humans, which is the actual definition of gain-of-function. But you have all that, and now you got this. Like, when are we going to start taking these worms and being like, hey, let's just add this with some kind of other DNA to change it into something else and do gain of function on a worm so that it can do harm to humankind? And then all of a sudden, there's an outbreak of worms. I feel like that's going to be a thing too. Like, so this is going to be incredibly dangerous. We cannot leave well enough alone with this. And I don't know what to think other than, when does humankind's stupidity just say enough is enough and just wipe out mankind altogether? Because it's coming. If we keep doing these things, it is definitely coming. But I saw this and I was just like, oh yeah, this is great. We revived these viruses not too long ago. We're studying them just in case something happens because, climate change kind of situation. And now they bring back a multicellular organism and it starts laying eggs to reproduce. And it's just, why? Why do we let these things happen? Why do we do these things? Because I don't understand what is the conscious or unconscious, however you want to. What is the need for science to do these things? Like, these things are gone. They're dead. They were supposed to be, but apparently they're not. And then, it also could be something that we thought was extinct, but it's fairly common because we don't know all the species on the planet. Some of them we should never know. This thing could be some kind of parasitic infection, and they just let it reproduce and reproduce and reproduce to bring it back, and then all of a sudden, now we have mind-controlling worms. I'm not saying this is a mind-controlling worm. I don't know. But it's a possibility. That's all I'm saying. And this is just dumb. It's really, really dumb. But this is the state of science. It's just do. Never mind the fact of what harm it could do, or never mind what this could implicate or create. We just do, and then worry about after. Like, can we just stop? Seriously, let's just stop for a second. Let's take a break from trying to do stupid ass things and creating things that are really not natural, or making things that are natural, combining them together to create something new just because we can. Look, if COVID was actually as bad as they try to say it is, which I doubt it really was. Even CDC admitted that only 6% of the deaths were actually real. Everything else was just kind of like they either died with COVID or died from something else, and everybody wrote down COVID because they were getting paid for it. But we created that. We created SARS-CoV-2. And then it was released onto the population of the planet. Why do we keep doing these things? I really need to know the answer to that. And then I need to smack somebody in the face and tell them, no, just stop. We're done. we're done with this dumb shit because we will be our own demise if we continue to let this happen. I just had to bring that story up, guys, because it's just, apparently this is not going to stop. And we're going to keep getting these things from the Siberian Permafrost. And it's going to be disturbing as hell. And every bit of it. But there's going to be no segue to that, because I don't know how to segue from worms in the Siberian Permafrost into another fucking indictment from Trump here. So there's no segue to that. We're just going to go ahead and throw that in. But yeah. All right, we got a Trump hit with sweeping indictment in alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Now, this one comes from the whole little Georgia thing, you know, where he called the governor of Georgia. I forget the dude's name. It'll probably pop up in here. But he called the dude from Georgia, and he's like, hey, look, I only need this amount of votes here, and some things about your election just don't seem right. We need to go through some things here and look for it. But once again, here we go with the indictment here, and we actually have ABC talking about this. So, oh, they're live right now with it. I'm not going to cut to their live feed.
And essentially tied
Now
against
you
Joe Biden.
shut your mouth. All right. Former President Donald Trump already facing 2 indictments, which is incredibly dumb. It really, really is, because you got the Alvin Bragg one, where he was just doing business as normal, and because his lawyer paid off Stormy Daniels, somehow it's an indictment because he does business as normal, writes things down in the ledger, or gets a bill for, lawyer retainers, writes them in the ledger, writes a check, checks cash, comes back, and all of those is one count, right? All of those have already passed the statute of limitations on anything that they could bring up. But hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. They all become felonies because it ties into covering up another crime. And what is that crime? Well, we still don't know. Because Alvin Bragg says, man, we ain't got to tell you what it is. You'll find out the day of. Huh? How can you prepare a defense against something that you have absolutely no idea what you're being charged for? Number one. Number two, that goes against, what is it? I think it's the right to face your accuser. I don't know which, off the top of my head, I do not know which of the amendments that covers. I think it's 5. I think it's a clause in the 5th one. But yeah. It breaks one of the amendments there, but yet we're still charging ahead with that one. We've also got the one in Florida that just kind of popped up out of nowhere and just doesn't seem like it's going anywhere with anything. Kind of, it's just like, this is pretty dumb. But all that was to cover up the whole fact that the IRS whistleblowers were coming out. And one of them was saying that he feared for his life. And they were going to testify. And whistleblower X will find out the day of the testimony. Which we did. And I know I have been kind of neglecting the YouTube side of things for a while. Because I have been on Rumble. Listening to these committee hearings. These testimonies and things like that. The IRS one, I really went over. It was actually up on the YouTube channel on the Voice of the People side. And we were going through that live. That was interesting. Throughout the entire 6 hours of it, anybody with a D beside their name, the only thing they did was scream, "But Trump, my Trump, and racism." Like, even the first time, they started doing that, then you could hear one of the whistleblowers in the background be like, "What does this have to do with anything here? Why is she screaming about racism when that has nothing to do with what we're talking about?" I mean, it was really ridiculous and incredibly embarrassing that that they would take that route. The only person that had a D beside their name that actually did anything in that testimony that could have come close to making a little dent into what they were saying was AOC, who was actually asking questions and on a little roll, and then all of a sudden, well, that's interesting because Trump. And I was just like, you stupid bitch. You had a chance. You had a chance and you failed because you couldn't help but put that orange man's Cheeto in your mouth and start deep throating. You couldn't help yourself, but here we go again. We go through this, and another indictment has come down. This one may be credible, and it really could be. This is the Georgia one and the DC one are the ones that are actually the most worrisome about this whole Trump witch hunt thing, because this could actually turn out to be something. But let's go ahead and read a little bit here. Former President Donald Trump, already facing 2 indictments, now faces a third set of charges after a grand jury handed up a wide-ranging indictment against him, alleging he undertook a criminal scheme to undermine the results of the 2020 election. The alleged scheme, which prosecutors said involved 6 unnamed co-conspirators, included enlisting a slate of so-called fake electors targeting several states using the Justice Department to conduct sham election crime investigations, enlisting the vice president to alter the election results, and doubling down on false claims as the January 6th riot ensued. More on that here in a minute. The 6 alleged co-conspirators include several attorneys and a Justice Department official. Now, wait, I'm just going to hold on here. I like this, including enlisting a slate of so-called fake electors. You mean the slate of alternative electors that have actually been used multiple times throughout this country's history, that do exist, that is actually able to be done, and yet they are still pushing for these crimes for 17 of the alternate electors in, what was it, Michigan or Minnesota or one of those states? One of them anyway. It's been used in our country's history before, multiple times within our country's history before. It is allowed. As a matter of fact, we, just in case anything happens, are actually in every state supposed to produce an alternate slate of electors just in case, for whatever reason, the primary electors are not actually able to be used. It is a thing, and yet they still hand down felony indictments to prosecute the people who were involved in a legal process within our election system. So when you say so-called fake electors, they're not fake. They're alternative slates of electors that we are actually supposed to do. But because our population is dumb as hell, and I even remember this going back through 9th grade, U.S. government. In 9th grade, I learned that was a thing. But because our population is dumb as hell, they can't even name the 3 branches of government or what they actually are supposed to do. We believe that, well, they had fake electors that were there just in case, and they were going to do no, that's not how things. Yes, it is, you dumb motherfuckers. That's how things are supposed to work. Plain and fucking simple. If you would read any kind of election laws at the very beginning of the election laws and things like that, at the very beginning of diving into it, an alternate slate of electors is allowed and encouraged just in case the primary slate of electors is not able to be used for whatever reason. It is a thing. I was taught that in 9th grade, which was what, 25 years ago or so? Something like that, whatever. More than that, actually. Jesus Christ, I'm old as fuck. 20-year anniversary is coming up soon. Anyway, but yeah, we're actually supposed to have these things just in case something happens. The sweeping indictment based on investigations by special counsel Jack Smith, who I love this. While this was going on, I don't know if y'all saw any of this throughout the news or anything like that, but I think it was CNN. Like CNN, they had a video of Jack Smith coming out of Subway, and they were just like, "Oh, well, him eating Subway is some kind of it's a statement to Trump that he's not going to be pushed around, and this foot-long sandwich is some kind of state." The fuck? So getting something to eat is now a statement. Like, how dumb can you guys be with any of this? But yeah. Charges Trump with 4 felony counts: conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights. The indictment alleges that Trump knew that the claims he advanced about the election, specifically in Arizona and Georgia, were false, yet he repeated them for months. Oh. Really? Because I actually do think that the dude believed it. Hell, everything that we saw, I believe something went down. Something did happen. Something was crazy about that shit. I mean, what was it? One of them, they boarded up the windows and told Republican poll watchers to get out. One of them said they had a pipe leak and then continued to count votes in the middle of the night after everybody was supposed to be gone. Yeah, there was a lot of shady shit that went down that we still have no answers for. We still have no real answers for, other than what they want to tell us about these things that happened. So of course, things are going to start flying around. Of course, people are going to start drawing inferences. Of course, that kind of shit's going on. Do I actually believe that happened? In some type of way, yes. Did it affect the election? No. What really happened was the fact that people went door to door in these big ass fucking cities and said, "Hey, you know all the problems you've been having this last year? Yeah. The lockdowns? Yeah, that's Trump's fault, even though he was against that. You know how he was trying to stop international travel before the lockdowns happened, and we called him xenophobic, and then the lockdowns happened, and he tried to say that it's a bad thing that we do this. Yeah, that's his fault. The economy tanking, that's his fault. Everything is his fault. Mark D and just move on. And stupid ass people. Okay, fine, whatever. Here, get out of my face. Let me go back to watching my reality TV or whatever the hell people are watching today. That's what fucking happened, ladies. Let's just... Yes. 81 million people came out of 36 counties and gave Joe Biden the win. Yes. Because 81 million people never fucking listened except to their TV that they were sat in front of for the entire lockdown and told Orange Man bad, here's all the things that he did wrong, even though we cut up everything in that. Orange Man bad because of this and this and this and this and this. And that's all you ever heard about, because the only thing that gave any kind of pushback was Fox News. And let's just admit, Fox News is a shithole. It really is. But anyway. Yeah, it's just... People do need to... There was a lot of shady shit going on, and even the Kerry Lake trial kind of exposed that. It really did, because in that trial, one of the claims that she had brought up was that the signature verification wasn't done correctly. And they were trying to dismiss that, and then that went up to the Supreme Court of Arizona, and the Supreme Court said, no, this seems credible. You got to hear this case. And then the judge is like, okay, well, for me to hear this case, you got to prove to me that not a single bit of verification was ever done. That was never the claim in the first place, but not a single bit of verification was ever done. Which is impossible because Yeah. Okay. I look at the screen, click, look at the screen, click, 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 click. Over 2/3 of the ballots were actually signature verified within, what was it, 3 to 5 seconds? Which isn't possible. I mean, you look at, in 3 to 5 seconds, you look at one signature and then it's okay. Okay. Good. Yeah. But she had to argue that wasn't even done. Yeah. It's not going to be that way because, well, I think the judge was embarrassed that he tried to dismiss the claim. And then the Supreme Court said, no, that's stupid. Send it on back. And then the judge was like, all right, fuck. If I can't dismiss it, you got to prove it never happened. Which, again, was never the claim that Kari Lake made. But anyway, let's see. The indictment alleges that Trump knew that the claims he advanced about the election specifically, yeah, we've read that. Despite having lost, the defendant was determined to remain in power, the indictment reads. So, for more than 2 months following Election Day on November 3rd, 2020, the defendant spread lies that there had been
push to overturn the 2020 election.
What are
he now
you?
Faces 3 criminal indictments.
Why are you talking? Why do you talk? I silenced you, and you're trying to come back. Anyway, get off my screen. Where were we? These claims were false, and the defendant knew that they were false, but the defendant repeated and widely disseminated them anyway. To make his knowingly false claims appear legitimate, create an intense national atmosphere of mistrust and anger, and erode public faith in the administration of the election, reads the indictment. Full stop. Before Trump had made any claim whatsoever about election fraud, that shit was already circulating all over social media. Twitter was ablaze with that, with all of those pictures and videos and everything like that. The public was already saying it, especially with that data dump in the middle of the night. And I think it was Arizona that actually happened. That data dump in the middle of the night where Trump was ahead, and then all of a sudden at 3 o'clock in the morning, Biden shoots right the hell up. That was already a thing before Trump had ever said anything about it. People were already raising that alarm before he had even spoke a single word or made it. Well, actually, yeah, he was still on Twitter at that time. Before he had even made a tweet or spoken a single word or anything, people were already making this claim. So is it on him? Absolutely not. So to sit there and say it's because he made these claims over and over and over again that people believed it is absolutely 100% unequivocally false and a lie. The former president has been summoned to appear in court on Thursday in Washington, D.C. I'm not going to ask that. I'm not going to ask that question. Because it's the same question of why Ray Epps, who lived in Arizona at the time, now lives in Colorado, is suing Fox News, who is headquartered in New York City, somehow gets his case heard in a Delaware court, in the same court that Fox lost the election, or the lawsuit for the Dominion case. Like that's not a thing. It either goes to wherever it occurred, which if it's across states, it goes to either the victim or the plaintiff, in whichever case is more likely to hear the case out, it goes to them. But how in the hell that motherfucker got his case in front of the same court that said Fox News is guilty of all the defamation, or all the defamation for the Dominion lawsuit shit? How he did that? I don't know. By the way, we still got more about him. The Ray Epps story never ends, and it's incredible. But anyway, the charges mark the third time the former president has been indicted on criminal charges, following his indictment last month in the special counsel probe into the harsh handlings of the classified materials after leaving office. Oh, yeah. In the indictment in April in New York State, charges of falsifying business records in the connection with the hush money payment made by the adult film actress Stormy Daniels. You know what the indictment in April over New York State was supposed to cover up? Yeah, the fact that the news media who told you that Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation, yeah, they had to admit it was true. And they laughed in your face as they did. And then all of a sudden, that indictment's handed down. Yep. Do you remember that? Do you remember how the media who laughed in your face because you thought, oh, it was all Russian disinformation. The Russians were trying to fuck with us. Yeah, that shit was true. We lied to you. Guess what? Trump's been indicted. Let's talk about that now. The Florida one, you know why that was handed down? Oh, wait. Hold on. IRS whistleblowers are talking about how Hunter Biden they were looking into it for 5 years, and their superiors didn't let them chase down the case. The FBI pretty much told them to drop it. Yeah, that actually happened. I listened to that 6 hours. That 6-hour hearing. Yes, that actually happened. Our fucking government protected Hunter and Joe Biden from all of this for 5 years, stopped the investigation dead in its tracks, or even tried to slow roll it, so much so. You remember the whole thing about Trump being impeached because he gave that call to Ukraine? Yeah. Trump was impeached because he gave that call to Ukraine to say, hey, look into this Burisma thing for me, because this doesn't seem right. And then all of a sudden there's talk about, well, this is election interference. He's trying to look into a political opponent, which, by the way, at that time, Joe Biden didn't announce. He already announced after the fact, or he announced, and then we found out all this happened after the fact. So yeah, he's trying to dig up dirt on a political opponent. This is wrong. No, absolutely not. That shit happened before Joe Biden had announced. He announced he was running for president because they were looking into the scandal way beforehand, which, by the way, the FBI had the laptop in 2019 and covered that shit up too. Y'all remember any of that? Because I damn sure do. Anyway, Trump has decried the probes as a political witch hunt, pleaded not guilty to all charges in both cases. Yes, it is a political witch hunt because this is election interference. You are trying to prosecute somebody who you cannot control because the people of this country, who, by the way, a lot of people who actually support Trump fucking hate him. But they realize he did good for the country. They realize he was actually telling us the truth. He did it in a bombastic way and, mean tweets. But yes, he did a lot of fucking good for us. Let's see. In the history of the country, no president or former president has ever been indicted prior to Trump's first indictment of April. Thank you for announcing that, ABC. Guess what? It's the first time ever that a president or former president has ever been indicted prior. Yeah, but this isn't a political witch hunt, right? This isn't Joe Biden trying to destroy his political rival. This isn't any of that. Because of the Burisma scandal that Trump was looking into before Joe Biden decided, I'm going to run for president so you can't fuck with me. And then all that's coming out, and now it's, indictment after indictment after indictment. Oh, shit. IRS whistleblowers are saying something. Indictment. Devon Archer, the dude who was Hunter Biden's right-hand man with all this business dealings. Oh, wait, he's testifying. Oh, indictment. Because that's what this is covering up right now. Yeah. Let's see. Trump informed by Smith on July 16th that he was a target in an election probe, and a letter that source. Look, he knew about this since July 16th. He knew about this since July 16th, and here it is, August 1st, a month and a half later, and then all of a sudden, this happens. A month and a half later. Oh, hey, we're gonna let charges come down and we're gonna to indict you in our own time. When is that? Let's see, when we have to cover something up to make you talk about Trump instead of Devon Archer, to make you talk about Trump instead of the IRS whistleblowers. Yeah. Oh wow. By the way, the whole the Marjorie Taylor Greene showing porn, and yeah, that fucking argument is so goddamn dumb, and you can tell who watched it and who did not, because Marjorie Taylor Greene was talking about how Hunter Biden had paid for a prostitute, flew her from LA to DC through the funds that he was getting from these illegal back dealings from a company, a law firm that has absolutely no clients, has done absolutely no business, but still worth millions and millions of dollars somehow. Yeah. Yeah, that's what that was about. But yeah, she was showing all this connection and everything. All these pictures were blacked out. They were blacked out. She wasn't showing any nudity on the committee hearing floor. All of it was blacked out. And the media continues to go after her as she showed lewd pictures. Nope. No, she did not. By the way, they're the same pictures that were circulating on Twitter as soon as the Hunter Biden laptop information was released on, what is it, hunterbidenlaptop.com or something like that? Something like that. Anyway, but this is the same information that came out from that was shown on the floor, and then all of a sudden, media hit after media hit after media hit. Now, was it right to do so? I don't give a shit. I really don't. But then it's a perfect example of what I was, I've been talking about, with the way men and women have to fight. Men can do these things, women can't, because if women do these things, you look classless, you look like a raving lunatic bitch. You look like Candace Owens on Tim Pool talking about Steven Crowder. And perfect example, something a man should have done, she did, because she's got more balls than most people in the Republican Party. She does this, and everybody's like, oh, it's so classless. What is she doing? She's such a horrible person. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, I'm going on rant after rant after rant. I know that, but I've been watching a lot. I've been hearing a lot, and I need to bring it. And a lot of the sources mentioned 3 federal statutes: conspiracy to commit offense or defraud the United States, deprivation of rights under civil rights statutes, and tampering with a witness, victim, or an informant. By the way, all of these right here, this whole indictment thing, y'all know why George Bush won his second term? Because he sued one county in one state. Yeah. Read up about that. Look into that. That motherfucker sued one county and one state to recount, to find votes for him. That's how George Bush Jr. won his second fucking term. The same damn thing Trump is being accused of now, George Bush Jr. did himself, and yet that wasn't a problem back then. But somehow it's a problem now. A grand jury impaneled by Smith in Washington, D.C., has been speaking with witnesses ranging from former White House aides to state election officials. Among those testifying in recent weeks have been former top Trump aide Hope Hicks and Trump's son-in-law, former White House senior advisor Jared Kushner. Does anybody remember Cassidy Hutchinson? Everybody was like, oh, she was Trump's aide. Now she's speaking against him. Yeah, and then it came out that the bitch lied about everything because somehow this fat fuck's supposed to be doing ninja flips inside a limo, going through this little porthole in the front of the thing to put one arm on the driver's neck and one arm on the steering wheel. Like somehow he's doing this number. Y'all remember that? Like this, it's all Trump official or Trump people coming out and going, really? You don't think for one damn second they were either coerced or paid into doing that shit? Like Cassidy Hutchinson, by the way. Has anybody heard anything from her? It would behoove you to look into what she's doing now, because she's got a cushy job that makes great money, all because she lied and was able to get away with it. Investigators have also been speaking with election officials who are believed to have been part of the failed 2020 effort to put forward slates of so-called fake electors, which have happened multiple times in our country's history, and they have been used multiple times in our country's history to cast electoral college votes for Trump on January 6th. Attorney General Merrick Garland, who, by the way, was supposed to be running for the Supreme Court, was shut down from the Supreme Court, became the Attorney General, has ties to Jeffrey Epstein, and then all of a sudden, everything's been about Trump, has yet to do his job other than Trump. Just like Alvin Bragg, who plays down and downgrades charges, huge charges, murder charges, violent charges, to make it look like violent crime in New York City is dropping on paper. Even though when you look around, you see these videos, you see everything circulating online, you can tell it's on the rise. Just like Fani Willis, whose whole campaign to run was to prosecute Trump. Okay. Let's see. Appointed Smith to oversee both the election probe and classified document probe after Trump's announcement in November that he was again running for president triggered the appointment of an independent special counsel to avoid a potential conflict of interest in the U.S. Justice Department. Right there, they admit it. Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed Smith to oversee both the election probe and the classified document probe after Trump's announcement in November that he was again running for president triggered the appointment of an independent special counsel to avoid a potential conflict of interest in the Justice Department. You know, the same fucking shit you were screaming about Joe Biden? Because he called Ukraine being like, hey, what's up with this Burisma thing? This doesn't look right. All of a sudden, I'm running for president. It's election interference if you look into this. And they go ahead and do the same thing. Oh, whoa. It's not, because we got a special counsel doing it now. Do you believe this shit? Do you believe any of this shit? Seriously, I'm actually asking you. Can you actually sit here with a straight fucking face and a brain that can process coherent thought, critical thinking? Can you sit here and say this is all on the up and up? Because I sure as fuck can't. And a lot of other people can't either. Because they know what's happening. But anyway. All of that right here just happened today. August 1st of 2023. That just happened today. What is that covering up? Well, Hunter Biden's business partner testified and told the truth. All that talk about Joe saying, that never had any business dealing. I'm sorry. I don't talk to Hunter Biden about his business dealings. I've never known anything about it. And then all of a sudden, the IRS whistleblowers came around and they spoke their little testimony. And then all of a sudden, I've never engaged in business with Hunter Biden. I did know about this, but I wasn't involved in the business dealings. Like, the tune changed real fucking quick. And now there's this, where Devon Archer literally says, yeah, Joe Biden was involved in all of it. As a matter of fact, there were over 20 times, where Hunter Biden, we were in a business meeting, Hunter Biden called his dad and put his dad on speakerphone. And what does the news media say? Yeah, they were talking about the weather. Yeah. How's the weather in Ukraine? How's the weather in China? Are you doing good, son? Come on, we know what the fuck's going on. But anyway, Hunter Biden Burisma execs called D.C. to get Ukrainian prosecutor fired. Yeah, we know about that. That video that's been flying around forever, and I wish they would have put it in here because it's a fucking thing. Where Joe Biden's like, hey, I'm leaving here in about 6 hours. If y'all don't fire the prosecutor, you're not getting the $1 billion. Well, you don't have the ability to do that. Well, call the president. You're not getting the $1 billion. Well, son of a bitch. They fire the prosecutor. Yeah, that. Devon Archer testified Monday that Hunter Biden and top executives of Burisma Holdings called D.C. in 2015 to ask the Obama administration to help fire the Ukrainian prosecutor investigating the firm, and source familiar with his testimony told Fox News Digital. I hate that fucking a source familiar with his testimony. You mean somebody that was in the closed door session? By the way, let me ask you a question. Why was Devon Archer in a closed door session, but yet the IRS whistleblowers was allowed to be live streamed? Why was that a thing? Oh, wait. Could it have been that Joe Biden tried to have this man arrested before he gave his testimony? Could it have been a thing? Because that happened. And then through the pressure of everybody being like, no, you son of a bitch. Walk this back right now. What are you doing? And he's, all right, fine, he can testify, whatever. He tried to have a witness arrested, just like he did with Gal Luft. He tried to have a witness arrested before the witness could testify. You know that whistleblower act that Obama signed into fucking office? Yeah, that states that until they give their testimony, you can't arrest them and bring them up on charges and jail them until after they give their testimony. Yeah, Joe Biden, twice now, at least twice now, has violated the Whistleblower Act. But yeah, he's a great president. He's better than Trump, right? Archer, a former business associate and longtime friend of Hunter Biden, testified for hours before the House Oversight Committee Monday. Archer testified that Hunter put his father, then Vice President Joe Biden, on speakerphone while meeting with business partners at least 20 times and said Joe Biden was put on the phone to sell the brand. Archer was on the board of the natural gas firm along with Hunter Biden. He also testified about the interaction in December 2015 involving Burisma CEO Mykola Zalewski? Something like that. Mykola Zalewski and Vadim Porshinsky. Whatever. The words. An executive at the firm. Archer said Zalewski and Porshinsky placed constant pressure on Hunter Biden to get help from D.C. in getting Ukrainian prosecutor Viktor Shokin ousted. Shokin was investigating Burisma for corruption. Holy shit. You know, I'm leaving here in 6 hours. You're not getting the $1 billion if the prosecutor's not fired. I'm going to brag about that. Guess what? Yeah, everybody said, oh, well, that was just U.S. policy. It was U.S. policy. What was the policy behind that? Oh, that's right. Covering up the corruption of Hunter Biden and all of his bullshit that he was pulling in Burisma, a Ukrainian energy company, in one of the most corrupt countries in the fucking world. And now we have spent over $200 billion defending the same damn shit that we have laundered money for. Are you getting it yet? According to the source, Archer testified that In December 2015, Hunter Biden, Zolchevsky, and Porchensky, I fuck those names, called D.C. I'm just going to call them Z and P. Called D.C. to discuss the matter. Archer testified that Biden, Z, and P stepped away to make the call. It is unclear if Hunter and Burisma executives spoke directly to Joe Biden on the matter. At the time, though, Joe Biden was in charge of U.S.-Ukraine policy from the Obama administration. Yeah, that's where the claim of U.S. policy came into play. Like, what would be in the U.S. best interest to get rid of a prosecutor investigating corruption in another country? Unless investigating that corruption would lead back to U.S. officials. You know, like Joe Biden, who was vice president at the time. Huh? Let's see. A source said that Archer testified that just days later, on December 9th, 2015, Joe Biden traveled to Ukraine and made a speech. Biden, during the speech, said the government needed to fix the Ukrainian prosecutor's office. This is the most revealing aspect of Archer's testimony and may be the most important in our investigation so far, House Judiciary Committee Jim Jordan told Fox News Digital. The testimony comes after Fox News Digital reported that on an unclassified version of an FBI-generated FD 1023 form, which contained allegations that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden allegedly coerced Z to pay them millions of dollars in exchange for help in getting Shokin fired. The quid pro quo. If y'all were listening to, like, what was it, the Culture War podcast with Emma Vigeland and Sean Fitzgerald, like Tim and Emma were talking about this, and she kept asking, what was the quid pro quo? Bitch, this was a quid pro quo. Every bit of that. They got paid money. Ukraine paid, well, Ukrainian officials, Burisma, paid the Bidens $5 million apiece to make sure that the prosecutor that was investigating Burisma got fired by withholding U.S. aid to Ukraine. Something he has not the authority to do, but used anyway. That was the quid pro quo, Emma, you dumb fuck. But here we are. Biden had acknowledged that when he was vice president, he successfully pressured Ukraine to fire prosecutor Shokin. At the time, Shokin was investigating Burisma Holdings, and at the time... Oh, I got something in my eye. Hold on. Ah. Oh my God, that hurt. Okay. Let's see. Where was I? And at the time, Hunter had highly lucrative role on the board, receiving thousands of dollars per month. Yes, it was what, $87,000 per month to sit on the board of Burisma and do absolutely fucking nothing because the dude, I guarantee you, the dude doesn't even know where electricity comes from. He just thinks you plug things into a wall and it gets electricity. But yet he sat on the board of an energy company. I mean, this fucking crackhead is on video smoking crack, saying that he smokes Parmesan cheese and all this other dumb shit. And yet somehow he's smart enough to sit on the board of a foreign energy company? I mean, it makes no damn sense. Let's see. The then vice president threatened to withhold $1 billion of critical U.S. aid if Shokin was not fired. Biden allies maintained that the then vice president pushed for Shokin's firing due to concerns the Ukrainian prosecutor went easily on corruption. Let me repeat that again because I fucked all that up. Biden allies maintained the then vice president pushed for Shokin's firing due to concerns the Ukrainian prosecutor went easy on corruption and said that his firing was the policy position of the U.S. and international community. Why? Why would that be the policy position? Somebody investigating corruption of a company that the vice president's son sits on, and they fire the dude because somehow he's easy on corruption? I mean, that makes no damn sense. It makes no sense, because if he was easy on corruption and your son's sitting there for absolutely no reason, getting this money hand over fist, saying, hey, you want all this to go away, you're going to pay us some money. I got connections, 10% for the big guy. Actually, that was a Chinese thing, not this, but you get what I'm saying. Why would he go and fire somebody that goes easy on corruption if there's a lot of corruption going on? Wouldn't it make fucking sense to keep that prosecutor there? No, because the dude was starting to realize, hey, there's a lot of fucked up shit going on in this company, and it's starting to point back to U.S. officials, specifically the Vice President of the United States of America. That form said Porchinsky P. said Hunter Biden was hired. There's a typo there. Said the reason Hunter Biden was hired was to protect us through his dad from all kind. What? That form said P said the reason Hunter Biden was hired was to protect us through his dad from all kinds of problems. Fox News Digital has reported that on November 2nd, 2015, Porchinsky emailed Hunter Biden emphasizing that the ultimate purpose of the agreement to have Hunter on the board was to shut down any cases pursuant against Nikolai in Ukraine, referring to Zlochevsky, who also went by Nikolai. Shit. It was real. And it was never U.S. policy. Fuck. And this son of a bitch is now the president of the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen. Give us a round of applause for stupidity. The White House has said President Biden was never in business with his son. Archer's testimony comes as part of the House's Oversight Committee months-long investigation, which Republicans say has yielded evidence related to the Biden family's alleged foreign business schemes, including the Biden family and its business associates created more than 20 companies and received more than $10 million from foreign nationals while Joe Biden served as vice president. More than $10 million. The IRS whistleblower said we have reached $17 million and still fucking counting. Still counting. You remember that whole saying of what? We've used so many companies, so many bank accounts, that'll take them 10 years to unravel this and find out the truth. Well, it happened within a matter of months. Yeah, this is what they're talking about with this. House Oversight and Accountability Committee Chairman James Comer said that some of these payments could indicate attempts by the Biden family to peddle influence, and say the family appeared to take steps to conceal the source and total amount received from foreign companies. Yes, because the money went from one company to another company for different kind of payments all the way into their pockets, which, let's see, Haley Biden, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, everybody was, even Jill Biden had a payment that was made to her throughout all these 10, 15, 20 companies and millions of bank accounts. Not really millions of bank accounts, but you get the point. Meanwhile, the House released a statement following Archer's testimony. It appeared that the House Republicans' own much hyped witness today testified that he never heard of President Biden discussing business with his son or his son's associates or doing anything wrong. White House spokesperson Ian Sams told Fox News Digital, that's not what he said up there. Oh, wait. He never heard it because they walked away, right? Even though he knew what was happening, even though he was put on speakerphone with them to be like, yeah, I'm talking to the vice president of the United States. He's my dad. Let's have a private conversation. Come on, we know what that's about. They're not talking about the weather, ladies and gentlemen. He's not asking his son, hey, How are you doing over in this country? Over here, is the weather good? Did you pet your dog yet? Did you feed your dog? Nah, he ain't doing that. Come on, we know the damn truth. Let's see. House Republicans keep promising bombshell evidence to support the ridiculous attacks against the president, but time after time, they keep failing to produce any. IRS whistleblowers, 300 pages from both of them is proof enough in the first damn place. The damn laptop itself is proof enough, but yet you motherfuckers keep lying because you know people aren't going to look into this. You know people aren't going to remember this. You know people, this has been going on for too long. Too many lies have been told. People don't care. Yeah, we do fucking care. And we've been watching and waiting for all of this to drop. And here's another damn 6-inch high heels to the nuts of Joe Biden and fucking Hunter Biden. In fact, their own witnesses appear to be debunking their allegations. Instead of continuing to waste time and resources on this evidence-free wild goose chase, House Republicans should drop these stunts and work with the president on the issues that actually impact Americans' daily lives. You mean like literally laundering money into Ukraine, over $200 billion, 30% of which has actually reached the front lines. $400 million went into Zelensky's own pocket. Their parliament voted to give themselves a 70% fucking raise off our fucking dollar, and then all of the rest of that money funneling back through different fucking scandals, kind of like FDX, back to the politicians that voted to send them money to Ukraine in the first place. Because these motherfuckers have gotten rich. As soon as they started sending money to Ukraine, these motherfuckers were making money hand over fist. How is that possible? Oh, insider trading? Like continuing to lower costs, create jobs, and strengthen healthcare. Sam, shut your fucking mouth. Shut your fucking mouth. Really? Continuing to lower costs because, well, how is that going to happen when the president is fucking printing money like it's the fucking end of this country? Because it is, actually. But he's printing money hand over fist. The mass printing of money is what led us into inflation. So somehow the mass printing of money is supposed to get us out of inflation, ladies and gentlemen. It's working. Create jobs. Oh. What was that fact check? 55,000 jobs created monthly since Joe Biden's been in office, because we are still just barely breaking over, just now breaking over all the jobs lost during COVID. Strengthen healthcare. Ha! Good fucking luck, sir. Good fucking luck, because there's no goddamn way you're going to be able to do that. In February 2022, Archer was sentenced to a year and a day in prison for defrauding a Native American tribal entity and various investment advisory clients of tens of millions of dollars in connection with the issuance of bonds by the tribal entity and subsequent sales of these bonds through fraudulent and deceptive means, according to the Justice Department. Oh. Money laundering. Back to the Bidens. The Justice Department over the weekend sought to set a date for Archer's sentence to begin. Yeah, because they tried to arrest the dude before he gave his testimony. And people were screaming at the top of their lungs. So yeah, this shit just keeps getting worse. And again, what are the Republicans doing about this? Well, maybe we ought to talk about impeaching Biden now. I mean, we got all this evidence here. We got all this shit that would literally put anybody away for 50 life sentences. Maybe we should talk about maybe impeaching Biden now. Maybe. I don't know. We got to think about this. Meanwhile, Trump was impeached for looking into this whole Burisma thing from the very beginning. And then all of a sudden, Biden says, hey, I'm running for president, ladies and gentlemen, to protect me and my son from going to prison. I'm running for president. Holy shit. Now he's trying to dig up dirt on a political opponent. He's trying to fix the election because if he gets Joe Biden sent to prison for the shit that he's doing, this is election interference, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Yep, it happened. It fucking happened. All right. Speaking of which, yeah, we were in the last article here. They were talking about, you know, the sweeping indictments of the alleged effort to overturn the 2020 election. They were talking about January 6th and all that. This one's going to be great. Y'all are going to fucking love this. Never mind the fact that throughout the Proud Boys trial, there were over 50 federal informants that were found instigating in January 6th. 8 federal agents implanted within the Proud Boys themselves, and that were drumming up trouble on January 6th. And it was actually testified. The defense lawyer for the Proud Boys, one of the defense lawyers, that actually put in a motion to have a mistrial over it. Well, that didn't work. And then he put in a motion to have the judge tell the jury that, hey, these 50 plus people that we found in here, at least let the jury try to use that information to make a decision whether our clients are guilty or not. Nope, because we don't know who they are, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know who they are. We don't know the names. We don't know which one of the 3-letter agencies that they work for, because those 3-letter agencies never gave us any information about it. We don't know any of that. So no, you can't use that as any kind of evidence to sway your mind on if they're guilty or not. As a matter of fact, the judge actually told the jury, you can't use that evidence. Put it away in the back of your mind and forget it. Kind of fucked up, ain't it? But I say all that to bring up Ray Epps, ladies and gentlemen. The man who's been on camera multiple times saying we need to go into the Capitol. The dude that whispered into that guy's ear right before he broke down the barricades. The one in his deposition that said that he helped to instigate January 6th. That man that everybody called Fed. The one Tucker Carlson pointed out several damn times and said he was an informant. And then because of that, Ray Epps is suing Fox News. Y'all gotta see this dumb shit. Now, throughout this entire thing, I wanna recap a little bit before I show you this. Throughout this entire thing, throughout January 6th, they pointed the finger at Trump saying it's his fault. Then they pointed the finger at Fox News saying they incited it. Then they even pointed the finger at Tim Pool. Tim Pool, of all fucking people, somehow was saying that the election was a fraud, which he never, ever fucking did. They pointed the finger at every single person over and over and over again. Independent media, people talking about it was the problem. You're the problem, ladies and gentlemen. Guess who's the next target? Fucking Joe Rogan. Ray Epps' attorney fires back at Joe Rogan's January 6th false flag absurdity. This is dumb. Oh my God, this is dumb. You need help, babe? Okay. If Rogan is truly interested in focusing on who's instigated the January 6 riots, Epps' lawyer said, he would find more truth in looking at the mirror. Wait, what? Are you fucking kidding me? Joe Rogan instigated January 6th now, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Rogan did it, according to Epps' lawyer. Ray Epps, former Trump acolyte in the center of the wild right-wing conspiracy theories about January 6th, never mind what I said about the Proud Boys case, is pushing back against the absurdity of podcaster Joe Rogan's claim that he clearly instigated the Capitol riots and helped the federal government orchestrate a false flag. During a broadcast of the Joe Rogan Experiment last week, the conspiracy peddling comic once again pushed the unfounded claim that Epps was an undercover agent for the FBI who purposely incited MAGA supporters to storm the Capitol in an effort to damage the then President Donald Trump. Fucking wait, hold up. The dude's been on camera saying we need to go into the Capitol, telling everybody to do these things. He whispers into that dude's ear. He breaks down the barricade. His deposition says that he helped orchestrate that. He went into the Capitol himself. In the deposition, he admits he goes into the Capitol himself, looks around, says, oh, I'm going to leave. But then says, oh, I saw somebody hurt, so I needed to go over there and render aid to them. And you're going to sit there and tell me that this guy who couldn't be subpoenaed in the Proud Boys case because they couldn't find him, yet 60 Minutes found him. You're going to sit there and tell me that this dude is, he's on the up and up. There's nothing really going on with that. You're going to sit there and tell me that they can arrest grandma for walking into the Capitol, looking around and being in awe at everything. You're going to sit there and tell me that you're not going to prosecute this guy who admitted through his own testimony that he helped orchestrate January 6th? Okay. The Jan 6 thing is bad, but also the intelligence agencies were involved in provoking people in a Capitol building. That's a fact. Joe Rogan declared before invoking unfound theories that Epps' supposed involvement in the gang in ginning up violence. What? I guess that's a ginning up violence, whatever. But yeah. The intelligence agencies were involved in provoking people into the Capitol building. That's a fact. It is a fact. Court documents throughout the Proud Boys case prove it. Video evidence of the Capitol Police waving people in. One actually pulled a person into the Capitol building. That's a fact. I don't know. But I do know that I think that every other person who was involved in January 6th, who was involved in coordinating a break-in into the Capitol and then instigating people, they were all arrested, he asserted. This guy wasn't. Not only that, but they were defending him in the New York Times, the Washington Post, all these different things, saying Fox News has unjustly accused him of instigating when he clearly instigated. He did on camera. I don't know if he was a Fed. I know a lot of people think he was a Fed. Last month, Epps filed a defamation suit against Fox News, claiming that the conservative cable giant and former Fox News star Tucker Carlson commenced a years-long campaign spreading falsehoods about him and destroyed his life by making him a scapegoat for the January 6th attack. No, you did that yourself, sir. You did that your damn self. As a matter of fact, I can actually pull up your testimony. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and do that. Let's see. Permanent hearing. Let's go for U.S. States House of Representatives. This is at house.gov. Select committee to investigate January 6 attacks on the U.S. Capitol. You click on the first link. Congressional hearings, 117th Congress, Control F. Nope. Congressional reports, maybe? It's in here somewhere. Hearings, reports, committee prints. Meetings of the committee. I'm just going to expand it all. We'll find it. Fuck it. Control F. You son of a... Control F. Transcribed interview of Ray Epps. Where is this so I can get back to this a lot quicker? Oh, seriously? Good God. Scrolling. Anyway, whatever. I'll find it later, but Ray. Transcribed interview of Ray Epps. Let's get the PDF. Share this tab instead. Control F. Or CH. There we go. As we scroll down just a little bit in the middle of the pages, all right, perfect. Sounds like at around 9 a.m. your nephew texts you and Jim be safe. And then at 2:12 p.m. on January 6th, you text back, I was in front of a few others. I also orchestrated it. This is the exact same time of the video. Help us understand this text. But what do you mean by orchestrate? What did you orchestrate? I just meant you have to understand a relationship. Uncle-nephew. We hunt together. We fun with each other. We do that kind of stuff. What I meant by orchestrate, I helped people get there. What? Like that's a fucking thing. Help people getting there is somehow orchestrating. Not from what the videos were showing. But anyway. Let's see. Spreading falsehoods, making him scapegoat. Carlson, in particularly, regularly insinuated on his primetime show that Epps was an informant of the feds who helped stage manage the insurrection. He fucking admitted it in his own deposition. In a statement to the Daily Beast on Tuesday morning, Epps' attorney, Michael Teeter, blasted Rogan for breathing more life into the groundless allegations that Carlson initially made popular on the right. Joe Rogan's recent comments show the staying power and consequences of... Let me rewrite. I'm just going to use a voice for this one. Joe Rogan's recent comments show the staying power and consequences of Fox's and Tucker Carlson's lies about Ray Epps. For years, Fox targeted Ray and spread falsehoods about him, and Fox's viewers viewed the lies as a basis to harness and threaten Ray. Huh? Not talking to me. Okay. He added the absurdity of the conspiracy theory does not stand in the way of it being spread by and weaponized to harm Ray. If Mr. Rogan is truly interested in focusing on who instigated the attack at the Capitol, he would find more truth in looking at the mirror than he does on focusing on wedding venue owner from Arizona. Good fucking God. Good God. This can't be any dumber. I'm not going to issue that as a challenge. I'm just saying it's a turn of phrase, not a challenge issued. Okay. Rogan, who signed a $200 million contract with Spotify in 2020, has regularly pushed conspiracies that Epps was an agent provocateur and that the Capitol attacks were a false flag orchestrated by federal government. On past podcasts, he said that the FBI was manipulating those people at the Capitol because they had a vested interest in this going sideways in order to disparage Trump. They did. Why was Nancy Pelosi there with her daughter recording a historic event that has happened 45, 46 other times and then saying this, as all this was going down, saying, this is my moment. I've been waiting for this. I'm going to punch him in the face. Huh? Why did Nancy Pelosi and Muriel Bowser turn down the 20,000 guards that were offered by Trump for that day because of optics? But yet, once that happens, you put up barricades around the Capitol, barricades around everything in D.C. Yeah. They had a vested interest in it going sideways because they wanted it to. They pushed it to. They had 50 plus federal informants all over that crowd, just in the Proud Boys case alone, instigating what happened at the Capitol. They had cops letting them in. There's that video of the Capitol Police opening the doors saying, I disagree with what you're doing, but you have the right to protest. Come on in. You have that video of the cop waving them in. I mean, there was one Capitol Police officer who was in there crying and whining about how he was so hurt and he was damaged and his hands were bloody and everything like that. And the video evidence proves that he was just standing around doing fucking nothing throughout the entire thing. Oh. The FBI said that Ray Epps had never been an FBI source or an FBI employee. Okay. What about the CIA? What about Department of Homeland Security? What about the NIH? Anything else? As staffers of the House Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attacks said there is no evidence that Epps was involved in planning or engineering the riots, except he said he orchestrated it. And then tried to say, I just help people get there. That's what I meant by that. I help people get there. It's not like I'm on video multiple times saying we need to go into the Capitol. When we go into the Capitol, leave this here because you don't want to get shot. Whispering in the dude's ear right before he broke down the barricades, walking up to the Capitol with these people. It's not like none of this is on video, right? Additionally, while Rogan has pointed to the lack of prosecution of Epps over his role in the Capitol attacks as proof he was working with federal enforcement, Epps revealed in his lawsuit that the Justice Department informed him in May that it will file criminal charges against him for his actions on January 6th. And we just learned about that last month because, surprise, surprise, he filed a lawsuit to sue Fox News. Had he not done that, we never would have known this dude was actually facing prosecution. Epps, a former member of the right-wing Oath Keepers militia who voted for Trump twice and believed the 2020 election was rigged, said he was forced to sell his home and move to a remote trailer park due to the threats he received, death threats he received over the conspiracy theory. He also blames Fox News, peddling the election lies over Trump's losses, for pushing him to go to Washington, D.C. to protest the certification of Joe Biden's electoral victory. Did in any way Fox News tell you need to tell people to go into the Capitol? In any way did Fox News tell you to send that text to your son saying that you helped orchestrate? In any way, shape, or form? Did they tell you to whisper into the dude's ear right before he broke down the barricade and then you walked up in there with the same people that broke down the barricade? At any time did Fox News or Tucker Carlson or anybody else or even Trump himself, did he tell you to do that? Then how the fuck did they destroy your life? Why? Because Fox News reported on you? Oh. Yep, but yeah. This is fucking stupid. This is beyond cut your own levels of meat retarded at this point. They are blaming, dear God, they are blaming Joe Rogan for inciting January 6th when the dude literally is just now talking about it. Well, he has been talking about it throughout this entire year. I barely ever mentioned it in any of the things after it happened until the Proud Boys case came around. Then he actually started really talking about this. But somehow he helped instigate January 6th because he's talking about it 2.5, 3 years later. This is beyond retarded, ladies and gentlemen. This cannot, I don't even know what to say other than, dear God in heaven, help us all. Because, I mean, it's Tim Pool's fault. It's Tucker Carlson's fault. It's Fox News' fault. It's Trump's fault. Fuck, they even blamed Alex Jones, who was saying, don't go into the Capitol. Stay here. Stay on the outside. That's what they want. And they still said he was a provocateur of that shit. In all actuality, in the Proud Boys case alone, 50-plus federal informants were found instigating. So who was the provocateurs? Because it damn sure wasn't anybody else that they've pointed fingers at. Muriel Bowser, Nancy Pelosi, because of optics, said don't bring in the National Guard. We can have a skeleton crew at the Capitol. Everything will be fine. By the way, I'm going to have my daughter here with a camera recording everything for a historic moment that has happened damn near 50 times in the country's history. This is my moment, ladies and gentlemen. I've been waiting for this. Who the hell do you think the provocateurs were? Do you guys remember the pipe bombs at the DNC and the RNC? What happened to that? Oh, we don't know. Just like we don't know who put cocaine in the White House. Oh, the prevailing theory is it was Don Jr.'s? 2.5 years, 3 years later, we just found Don Jr.'s coke. We got bigger fucking problems than just that. Bigger security problems if it took you 2.5, 3 years to find some coke at the White House. Never mind the fact that there was reports of at least 2 times marijuana being found at the White House. But yeah, we got a crackhead living in the White House because he doesn't want to go pay his baby mama for child support. Coke found at the White House, and now all of a sudden, it's Joe Rogan's fault that January 6th happened. All of it's coming apart, ladies and gentlemen. Sit back, laugh, relax, and enjoy the clown show. Because very, very soon, the real truth will come out about this all. Nancy Pelosi, especially Nancy Pelosi, going to the Joint Chiefs of Staff the day after January 6th, telling that the whole military don't listen to Trump. Any order he gives is not a lawful order. And she was told, ma'am, if we do that, that would be a military coup. You know, the same shit she was yelling about for months before January 6th, that Trump was going to do a military coup. Yeah, she did that herself. All this shit about January 6th, yeah, all that's going down now. So, give us some time, ladies and gentlemen. Sit back, relax, enjoy the clown show, because it's about to get interesting. But I'll leave you on that, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all have a good night, and we'll see y'all again very soon.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.